Hey, how are you doing? It's Keith. I hope I find you in good feelings and riding that 2012 wave as we go on in. I'm going to do a little video of how I've been eating for maybe the last month and a half. A few little alterations because basically I have this overall idea with being more of an omnivore raw foodist where I personally feel that like I want to sort of follow the cycles of the season. And I was going to be more vegan, plant-oriented during the spring and summer, which makes perfect sense, and then relying a little more on animal products in the dead of winter, of course. And I do have to tell you, I've never had any real issues with eating meat. I've come from a world of mostly meat eaters and things like that. Although I am very attracted to a plant-only diet. And so that's constantly going through my head, but of course I don't really worry about it too much because where I've arrived at my age, which would be nearly 50, I find that, I need more nutrients, and basically I've felt like I've had a complete bounce back since I've added animal products into my diet. So what happened was I was intending to be raw vegan throughout the summer, but I went to a farmer's market and came to, I saw some really good grass-fed weird parts, meaning weird parts, the sort of things that are discarded with most people. And so I purchased sheep heart, goat heart, sheep liver, sheep testicles, which I ate right away, tasted really good because of the testosterone. Well, that's not why it tasted good, but I was really interested in it because of that. And so anyways, that's what I'm doing. And so I realized in my sort of considering the ancestral part of eating, which I don't completely subscribe to, but I listen to it, and then I'm operating on basically finding out what works for me. So I want to listen to like what everybody has to say, but in terms of me following any one protocol, in my case, those are long gone, and I do feel that that's a much more highly evolved way to figure out what's going to work for yourself. But of course, if you're completely lost, you need to like follow somebody until you start seeing the light of day on your own. So I'm eating, and we're going to have some raw liver. So the first thing you want to eat, if you're going to start eating meat, is some hydrochloric acid enzymes, and I pop those down like right away. And that's that, and then I go right. Generally, I prefer, if I'm going to eat meat, I like to eat the meat like right away. However that falls and what normal people do, I find that's what works best for me. So having a little bit of liver. It's a bit to the brown side because it's been frozen. So I'm going to I basically just cut it up and just chew on pieces of it. So it's like looking a little gray, but like I said, it's because it's frozen. And I had it out in the air a little while ago, but it's pretty good stuff. So So this liver I had here, when I first ate raw liver with Truth Calkins, it had some fat in it. This stuff here has been pretty good. So with the gristle and stuff, I've been able to chew it all down. I just take off little pieces, and down it goes. And I really, from day one when I first started eating liver, I just really liked it right away. It made me feel good and everything else. So yeah, just for a little more information about what I'm doing, is I'm basically, all my life, as I said in one of my earlier videos, I've always followed this sort of protocol of eating one large meal a day. And a lot of things throughout my life indicated otherwise. I've always been a breakfast skipper, and the fact that my work that I did in my normal day job career before I became a full-time artist, what have you, the whole eating didn't fit in because I was too, and I've never liked breakfast. So anyways, that being said, I really tuned into that. I was on the right track with the whole Ori Hofmeckler, the Warrior Diet thing, which, not that I needed justification because I already knew what worked for me, but it was nice to hear that. And somebody who I am following, who I don't eat like at all, is Charles T. Rose. I've really been following him and monitoring his progress. And by the way, dude, you look really, really good. I'm blown away with just your overall aura and all that stuff. So my next thing after the liver is to get a little, or when I do eat raw meat, is to get a little probiotic going in me to help me deal with maybe any possible bad bacteria, help with the digestion. So we're going to have a tiny bit of some milk kefir. And again, I do spread, once I do eat, I sort of spread this out over a 2-hour period. And I may like run into my studio even though I'm still eating to kind of let all that stuff digest. And I sort of, even though I eat in one thing, I sort of maybe stretch that out over an hour or two and sort of eat different stuff in sort of 3 to 5 phases basically. So, just give my body a little bit of stuff to get all of that out of the stomach, so I'm not like basically overloading my stomach and then creating a big problem with digestion. So I'm going to have a little bit of milk kefir. It would be coconut kefir if I was actually not so busy right now. Milk kefir is really easy to make, so I'm just going to have a little bit of that. I don't want to have too much of it. I have it all day. Because I don't want too much liquid in there to interfere with my the fluids that my body puts out, the digestive process of the body. So I don't want to dilute it too much, so I'm just going to have that much, and that's that. And then the next thing I'm going to have is my cultured veggies, and this is again my chili verde cultured veggies, which is onion, cilantro, a fucking shitload of jalapeno peppers, like more than you could ever imagine, and the whole culturing process actually takes all that heat away. Onion, cilantro, white onions, and I think that's basically it. But I really like this formula, so I'm gonna have some of that. And at this point, that's all I'm going to have right now, because I'm probably going to eat more later in maybe the very, very last thing that I have. Yeah, so anyways, next step, and just so you know, there was a lot of my hesitation because I don't have the most tidy house. I'm a very right brain person. There was a lot of hesitation from me during the whole period where I was just pretty strictly lecturing, and I didn't want to do the stuff in my kitchen because my kitchen's not that clean. And then I just thought to myself, well, fuck that bullshit. It's like a raw food kitchen that's used is that where you're living as you should, of creating things in your house. And by the way, I do think that people should create probiotics in their house, because this whole going out and buying it's just fucking lazy. It's far cheaper. It's easy. You just set a little bit of time aside. It's like, I have probiotics that I did back in October that I still have, and so you can't fucking tell me that you don't have time. That's a bunch of fucking crap. It's like, get your fucking ass away from the computer and make yourself some probiotics. And the medicinal, the healthy reason why you should is because you're making probiotics with the flora and the stuff that you have in your environment. And I'm gonna tell you, that's the thing I'm really focusing on, is eating local produce. And we just had a farmer's market that started coming up here, and I'm eating more local things. And I really am noticing a much more high functioning level coming from myself with that mindset. And the other thing that I'm doing that's really different is I'm sprouting like crazy. That's another, people have their issues with sprouts and whatever, bean sprouts and stuff like that, but I don't. So anyways, the next thing we're doing is we're making a little dressing to go with all this stuff that I'm gonna be making. So I'm just juicing up some limes as my base, and if you're following me and you're sort of just copying me or maybe something like that, just a word of warning up ahead of time, I do like things to the sour side, so again, if you're following me, you can sort of make your adjustments and what have you. So just start light on your sours if you have an issue with that. It's basically, with me in my case, it's not too sour. In fact, I've made dressings and people go, oh, way too sour. So anyways, so what I'm doing is just making this dressing that I'm going to use probably for the next day or two. I'm going to use it in different ways with what I'm creating. The next thing I'm eating is a pho, which is a Vietnamese sort of thing where you take some really brothy, hot broth, and then you put raw things into it. And the only reason I go with the broths, because I'm really not that attracted to eating cooked food, but I know there's a lot of benefits in it. And the number one thing is the sort of cooking up the bones and all that stuff and getting all that sort of nutrients that I don't think that they really understand yet in the world of health about those things that help with our connective tissue. So in the crock pot here is bones and some tongue and some other stuff that I got at the whatever, and we're going to be using that. And I usually let this pot like this go for like days, just days. And so if you're seeing things in my kitchen that you're thinking, oh, I thought Keith was all into health food and everything and all this kind of shit and everything, and he's like doing one thing and saying another. He has a George Foreman grill here and everything. Well, I have collaborators here that are working with me on video, not my banana. So anyways, I'm going to take the sour into the blender and pick the knife up off the floor. And we want to go with some ginger here. I think I'm starting to run out of garlic, so I always do garlic and ginger stuff. I don't even bother with measurements. The garlic, the ginger, and I'm out of garlic. I know I am. So what I'm going to do instead of the normal garlic, and when you go with powdered garlic, it has a little different taste to it. It kind of, I don't know how to describe it, but like onion powder, garlic powder, all of these kind of things have a little bit different flavor thing going on with them. So I'm going to go with a little extra garlic. That was a tablespoon and a half of garlic. And then of course we're going to go with the nice big huge amount of coconut butter, as you can always expect from me. Going down in there.